India has become the fifth largest economy in last 8 years. India's second quarter growth is the highest in the world. The manufacturing sector registered its highest growth of 13.9% in Q2 of financial year 2024. Unemployment rate has declined to 10% from 17.8% in 2017-18. India has emerged as the fastest growing major economy in the world and is harboring plans to become the third largest economy in the world by 2030. India's growth and prospects on several aspects, ranging from local manufacturing and export push, have outshined the dull developments of the world. Hello and welcome viewers. You're watching this special presentation of Sansad TV on Interim Budget 2024 and the Indian economy. The interim budget is expected to be another elixir for further cementing the economic progress of Bharat. India is expected to report higher than previously expected economic growth projections, potentially around 7% for the fiscal year 2023-24. Last month, the RBI adjusted its growth projection for the current fiscal year to 7%, up from the initial estimate of 6.5%. As we head towards the interim budget, there are increased debates and discussions on what the government should do to further bolster growth in the ensuing fiscal. One aspect that keeps coming up for consideration is whether the centre should further cut the excise duty on petrol and diesel. Any such cut will certainly provide a fillip to consumption in the economy and will also help control inflation. But the government has to take into account whether they have the fiscal space to absorb a cut in fuel tax, as over 1.5 lakh crore UPA era oil bonds need to be repaid.
If you have a financial difficulty that you have to confront, then you float bonds and someone else will have to pay them back. So those oil bonds floated between the years 2004 and 14, that I think was a tenure of the period. I think there were close to 1,41,000 crores. What we did during the current Prime Minister's period, sir, we took a number of steps to do it very differently. We diversified the sources of supply. The Honorable Prime Minister, who is very sensitive to the requirements of the most vulnerable sections of society, reduced the central excise duty on petrol and diesel on 2 occasions, sir.
The sharp hike in the government's capital expenditure from 4.1 lakh crore in financial year 2021 to budgeted 10 lakh crore in financial year 24 has supported growth and has also initiated the crowding in of private sector investment. The government has implemented a number of supply-side policies in recent years to boost manufacturing. As a result of this, India has emerged as one of the most favoured destinations for investments from both within and outside. The government has enacted a variety of strategies to endorse the manufacturing sector. India today is the most open economies of the world. India is now first amongst world's most attractive investment destinations. First amongst world's fastest growing economies. First among 100 countries on Growth, Innovation and Leadership Index. Data speaks louder than words. FDI inflows in India stood at $45.15 billion in 2014-15 and have since consecutively reached record FDI levels. The year 2021-22 recorded the highest ever FDI at $83.6 billion. The FDI has come from 101 countries and invested across 31 UTs and states and 57 sectors in the country. On the back of economic reforms and ease of doing business in recent years, India is on track to attract $100 billion in FDI. There was a significant increase of 76% in FDI in manufacturing sector in financial year 2021-22. Why? Well, the answer is the production-linked incentive scheme. Without doubt, PLI schemes have enhanced the competitiveness of the manufacturing sector and are helping leverage the untapped potential of industries to fulfill the vision of an Atmanirbhar Bharat. The PLI schemes as envisioned by Prime Minister Narendra Modi with the objective of making India Atmanirbhar is built on the foundation of 14 sectors with an incentive outlay of 1.97 lakh crore to strengthen the production capabilities and help create global champions. It is also expected that interim budget will focus on welfare schemes for 5 key sections of the society: women, poor, youth, farmers and tribals. As the BJP-led National Democratic Alliance, led by Prime Minister Modi, aims a third term in office on the back of Prime Minister Modi's promise of inclusive growth. Budgetary allocation for Indian Railways is expected to hit record levels in 2024-25 as the government gears up to support a major makeover of the national transporter with additional modern and faster trains and improved safety features. Gross budgetary support swelled to 2.4 lakh crore in 2023-24, when total capital allocation for the railways stood at 2.6 trillion rupees. Recognizing the need to lay a solid infrastructure foundation in order to achieve a $40 trillion economy by 2047, the Government of India has increased infrastructure spending to 3.3% of GDP. Capital expenditure budgeted for the current fiscal year accounts for nearly 22% of total expenditure, making it the highest in the last 15 years. In the realm of India's financial management, the terms interim budget and full-year budget hold significant weight, each playing a distinctive role in the nation's financial landscape. These two budgets serve distinct purposes and timelines, creating to specific needs within India's economic cycle. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman will present the budget on 1st of February 2024. It will be an interim budget as the elections for Lok Sabha are due early next year. An interim budget is a temporary financial plan presented by the government when general elections are looming or a new government is set to take office. It serves as a provisional arrangement to meet the expenditure needs of the government for a short period until the new government can formulate and present a full-fledged budget. An interim budget refrains from introducing policy changes or reforms that require long-term planning or financial commitments. The focus of the government remains on maintaining stability and continuity in governance. An interim budget typically allocates funds for essential government operations, ongoing schemes, and urgent requirements. Interim budget is presented for a vote on account, seeking approval for necessary expenditures until a new government can present a comprehensive budget. The interim budget will be tabled in Parliament, and the Finance Minister is expected to address various financial indicators, including inflation, fiscal deficit, capital expenditure, revenue receipts, and more during the speech. Understanding these terms is vital for gaining insights into the government's expenditure plans for the next financial year. So what is Union Budget? According to Article 112 of the Constitution of India, the Union Budget of a year, also referred to as Annual Financial Statement, is a statement of the estimated receipts and expenditures of the government for that particular year. What is Revenue Budget? The approximate amount required for growth, development, and infrastructure of the country is called Revenue Budget. The Revenue Budget includes the government's revenue receipts and expenditures. There are two kinds of revenue receipts: tax and non-tax revenue. Revenue expenditure is the expenditure incurred on day-to-day functioning of the government and on various services offered to citizens. If revenue expenditure exceeds revenue receipts, the government incurs a revenue deficit. What is Capital Budget? Well, this includes capital receipts and payments of the government. Loans from the public, foreign governments and RBI form a major part of government's capital receipts. Capital expenditure is the expenditure on development of machinery, equipment, building, health facilities, education, etc. A fiscal deficit is incurred when government's total expenditure exceeds its total revenue. What is the Economic Survey? The Economic Survey is a flagship document of Finance Ministry. It is presented in both Houses of Parliament a day before the budget is presented. The Economic Survey provides detailed information about Indian economy over the past financial year. What is inflation? Inflation, usually expressed in percentages, is a quantitative measure of the rate at which products and services in an economy are increased over a certain period of time. When the price of a certain basket of commodities increases due to internal or external economic factors, it can be termed as rise in inflation. What is fiscal policy? Fiscal policy outlines the estimated taxation and government spending and serves as a key instrument to monitor the country's economic position. The fiscal policy denotes adjustments in spending levels and tax rates, also refers to the use of government spending and tax policies to influence economic conditions. What is fiscal deficit? The difference between government's total expenditure and its total revenues, excluding money generated from borrowings, is known as fiscal deficit. What is capital expenditure? This refers to funds used by the government, in this case, to acquire, maintain, or upgrade physical assets such as property, new infrastructural projects, or buying new equipment. Capital expenditure is classified as a long-term expenditure and usually includes expenses incurred by the government towards asset building, including development and infrastructural projects. What is current account deficit? The current account deficit is a measurement of country's trade where the volume of imported goods and services exceeds the value of exports. It is a component of the country's balance of payments. What is direct tax? Direct taxes include income tax and corporate tax. India is one of the fastest growing economies of the world and is poised to continue on this path, with aspirations to reach high middle income status by 2047, the centenary of Indian independence. It is also committed to ensuring that its continued growth path is equipped to deal with the challenges of climate change and in line with its goal of achieving net zero emissions by 2070. Well, viewers, that's all we had for you in this edition. Thanks for watching and stay tuned to Sansad TV. Goodbye for now from my side.